This is the weekend edition of iFiber One News, where we present some of the top stories from this week and your weekend weather forecast. I'm Bethany Jenks. Stay tuned for the weekend edition of iFiber One News.
From the iFiber One HD studio here in the heart of the Columbia Basin, this is iFiber One News, your #1 source for local news, sports headlines, and our very own Weather Center forecast covering the entire Columbia Basin. This is iFiber One News, and it starts now.
One of our top stories for this week was from Soap Lake, where the residents welcomed a new librarian. Reporter Jeff Chu headed over to the library and has the story.
There's a new top bookworm at Soap Lake Library. His name is Aaron Leffelbein, and he started this week as Soap Lake's new librarian at the facility at 32 Main Avenue East.
I have family ties to Soap Lake. I lived here the first 3 years of my life, but that's been about 30 years. So I hail from Ephrata, grew up there.
Leffelbein comes to Soap Lake from Ephrata Public Library, where he worked since summer of 2013. When he heard about the top librarian position open in Soap Lake, he said he jumped at applying for the opportunity.
I love the city of Soap Lake. I think it's a fun place. There's always something fun going on here. The view is spectacular out the window there. And I love working for the library. So I wanted to take the opportunity to take a more of a full-time position.
Soap Lake's new librarian, who is also a musician, explained what got him into library science.
Being able to work with the communities and to have that exposure to all the different facets of community in Ephrata was what initially drew me. I was teaching piano lessons at the time and wanted to have some extra exposure to the community because piano lessons was in my house. So I was in my house all day.
He admits he has always loved libraries.
As a kid, I spent a lot of time in the library in Ephrata. Lots and lots of hours down there. We'd go down when I had free time and just read books like crazy.
He's a graduate of Big Bend Community College and finished up his degree at Pacific Life College in Southern California. Leffelbein and departing librarian Susie Crapson were greeted by the Friends of Soap Lake Library recently, giving one a welcome and another a farewell party. Soap Lake Library has about 100 regular book users and about 500 who hold library cards. Crapson explained why she's leaving Soap Lake to take a librarian position at Moses Lake Library.
It was a very hard decision to leave Soap Lake. A lot of soul searching went into it before I said yes, because I'm hating to leave. I always have wanted to be a librarian, and this opportunity came up, and it was my dream job. When I was right out of high school, I seriously thought about going to college to get my library degree, but that was in Seattle, and I came from Warden, and I just could not picture myself living in Seattle. And so later on, this opportunity came up.
Soap Lake Library is a member of the North Central Regional Library System that includes Ephrata, Moses Lake, Quincy, Warden, and Mattawa, some of 29 libraries in the region. Leffelbein said he wants to first focus on building programs for youth library users. I'm Jeff Chu for iFiber One News.
Our next story is about Microsoft's new data center that's under construction in Quincy and is expected to be completed this year. Reporter Jeff Chu has the details.
The walls are up on Microsoft's new data center on 200 acres in Quincy. Port of Quincy officials say when completed this year, Microsoft's campuses in Quincy will be one of the largest data centers in the world. Microsoft's data center addition could be as large as 1 million square feet, according to port officials. Microsoft purchased the land last year from the Port of Quincy for $11 million. Port officials say it could bring Microsoft's workforce in Quincy to at least 400. Microsoft came to Quincy in 2006 and built an original data center of about 500,000 square feet on 75 acres. The new data center is located east of the existing location. The new data center will allow Microsoft to further expand its cloud technology. Cloud technology allows computer users to pull stored data on other servers such as Microsoft's. Quincy has 5 other massive data centers intermingled with farmland. Yahoo, Dell, Intuit, Saby, and Vantage all have facilities in Quincy. Inexpensive Grant County Public Utility District hydroelectric power and high-speed fiber optic connectivity have attracted the data centers to Quincy. I'm Jeff Chu for iFiber1 News.
And now we take a look at people being sought by law enforcement.
This is Sheriff Tom Jones with the Grant County Sheriff's Office. Each of the people you see here have a warrant for their arrest. If you see any of these people, we ask you do not attempt to detain or apprehend them, but call us at 509-762-1160 or send us an email at crimetips@co.grant.wa.us. If the person is presenting a danger, call 911. With your help, we can bring these people to justice and make our community safer.
We will be right back after this.
At Moses Lake Community Health Center, we have had the privilege to serve the local communities since 1978.
What I like about working at this clinic more than any other clinic that I've worked at is the patient care. With the patient care team that we've assembled, it allows us to take care of as many facets of the patient and their family's needs.
Please take the opportunity to experience the high-quality care provided at our clinics.
There's something new and exciting happening right now at your nearest Toyota dealer. It's the arrival of the all-new 2014 Corolla, now featuring a new stylish exterior, plus a premium interior loaded with technology, including Toyota's N-Tune multimedia system with navigation. Corolla has definitely evolved. The best part is, right now you could take advantage of special introductory savings. The new 2014 Corolla, available at any of your Inland Empire Toyota dealers today. Toyota, let's go places.
Hi everybody, meteorologist Don Morelli with you here on iFiber Channel 1 News Weather. Hopefully you enjoyed your Friday, and I know we're sliding into the weekend. Your forecast for the weekend brought to you by Bud Cleary Toyota dealers. Toyota, let's go places. And if you have some plans this weekend, looking for the clouds and fog to redevelop. We had a little break, a little drier air came in the past 24 hours to not have the fog as widespread, but it looks like it's going to come on back. So lots of gray skies this weekend. There is a slight chance of a light wintry mix, freezing drizzle, freezing rain, maybe even some spits of snow in there for southern and western areas. I think the further north and east you go, the thinner the clouds and therefore the less chance. And then a little more significant precipitation event coming into Oregon on Sunday, Monday. That might actually spread moisture north into our area, so we're watching that. But the big thing is the pattern. Mentioned yesterday, the pattern is trying to warm us up. Still trying to do so, but here in the basin, typically this time of the year, the cold air comes in and it is just socked in. So warm air comes up and over and sort of locks it in. So it takes a while to erode that cold air. And it's going to take another 7-8 days. But by the end of the forecast that you'll see at the end of the forecast here, by 7 days, we'll be in the 40s. At least I'm crossing my fingers. Meantime, 35 and 25 today, right about where we should be, and also 35 and 25 in Moses Lake. So pretty uniform temperatures here in the basin for this Friday. Currently outside 32 degrees with partly cloudy skies to mostly cloudy skies, with the temperatures cooling into the mid to high 20s. The fog and low clouds will once again redevelop, particularly after midnight in the pre-dawn hours. So you know the routine. As we slide through the overnight hours, some drying, but again, as I mentioned, late in the overnight hours through the pre-dawn hours, the clouds come back. You notice a little moisture in the Cascades. This is why I think western and southwestern areas tomorrow might have a little bit of light precipitation. Little drying tries to take place on Sunday, but I'm not overly convinced because by Sunday night, Monday morning, little moisture rapidly comes in. I see it's way to the south. That might be a little too far south. We'll have to watch it. In the meantime, our state forecast for Saturday, upper 40s, lower 50s, west of the Cascades, very nice temperatures. Low to mid 30s, some mountain snow showers possible here in the inland northwest. And as we zoom into the Columbia Basin, again, I want to focus that the further north and east you go, the thinner the clouds. Further south and west you go, the thicker the clouds. Nonetheless, temperatures in the lower to mid 30s, which is seasonal. And again, southwestern areas, we might see a few light bits of light precipitation. I'm not looking for anything major, but again, could be a few slick spots here and there in southwestern sections. Sunday a break, Sunday afternoon, Sunday night. This is where I'm a little concerned a bit. The big thing, the foggy areas in the morning, particularly mid to late week next week. And look at this, some 40s, but some rain late in the period. Have a great weekend, everybody.
You don't need me to tell you that 4 and all-wheel drive time is on its way. But maybe you didn't know your local Toyota dealers are gearing up for the season with special savings on our top-selling 4 and all-wheel drive models. From tough Tundra trucks to our best-selling CUV RAV4 or Benza, the perfect blend of all-wheel drive with safety and style. Plus many others. The bottom line is exceptional 4 or all-wheel drive savings just in time for winter. For full details on these and other savings, visit any of your Inland Empire Toyota dealers. Toyota, let's go places.
When you find out about the DQ $5 lunch, all this food for only $5, you gotta tell people about it. So I situated nice. Frosty drink next to this juicy grilled burger and fries. Get my sundae, boom. I just dropped a $5 lunchogram on all my friends. Get ready for a little $5 envy.
Michael, we like your style. The $5 lunch. Entree, fries, drink, plus a sundae. Only at your DQ. This is fan food, not fast food.
Moses Lake girls rolled past Davis in a league match at Lake Bowl Thursday. Sean Wells was on hand for the action and files this report.
It was a big day for Bowen and Moses Lake with the Lady Chiefs hosting the Davis Pirates. The Chiefs got off to a great start and never looked back. Rebecca Benavides had the high roll for Moses Lake with a 191. Liz Bushard rolled a 190 and Ashley Hash was consistent, rolling a 171 and a 178. The Chiefs took the conference match 3-1 and moved to 7-2 in the Big 9 Conference. Senior Ashley Hash knows the win puts her one step closer toward her goal.
And what's your goal this season? I mean, you're a senior. Do you want to make it to state?
Yeah, I really do. I'm really hoping to make it to state because I've only been to state as a freshman, and that was 4 years ago, so I'm really hoping to go this year.
The Chiefs get back on the lanes next Tuesday at Wenatchee. For Fiber One News, Sean Wells.
The number 2 ranked Moses Lake wrestling squad crushed West Valley 68-9 on the mat in Yakima last night. The Chiefs dominated the Rams, taking 12 of 14 matches, 7 by pin. Moses Lake finished as the number 2 team in state competition last year and looks to be among the best again in 2015. The Chiefs are well on their way to proving they belong as the team is undefeated in dual meets this season. Kevin Pangos scored 17 points. Przemysław Karnowski finished with 16, and number 6 Gonzaga beat San Francisco 88-57. It was the 8th straight win for the Zags, who moved to 4-0 in West Conference play. Kyle Wilcher added 15 points for Gonzaga, whose only loss was at number 7 Arizona. Cruz Pinkins scored 20 for San Francisco, which has dropped 4 straight. Gonzaga sank 12 three-pointers, shot 52% from the floor, and won the rebound battle 39-26. San Francisco shot 41%. Pangos was 5 of 8 on three-pointers and handed out 5 assists. The Zags broke open a competitive game with a 16-2 run midway through the second half. Gonzaga has beaten San Francisco 26 consecutive times in Spokane, dating back to 1989. The Dons' last win in the series came in 2012. Well, apparently you can take DeAndre Yedlin out of Seattle, but you can't take the Seattle out of Yedlin. The former Sounder was spotted wearing green footwear and the number 12 on his jacket at his first training session with Tottenham Hotspurs. Yedlin was born and raised in the Emerald City. He may be wearing a different uniform in a different country, but the Sounders' first homegrown player has shown he will never stop representing his hometown. Well, be sure and tune in to our live coverage of Ephrata basketball Saturday evening as the Tigers host East Valley. I'll be alongside Sean Wells, who will be calling the action. The first game tips off at 5:45. Seattle hosts Carolina in a divisional playoff game at 5:15. Go Hawks! We'll be right back after this.
Bud Clary Ford Honda is proud to be an automotive leader in our area. Since opening our doors over 54 years ago, we have kept a firm commitment to our customers. We offer a wide selection of vehicles and hope to make the car buying experience as quick and hassle-free as possible. You can trust that we will get you into the car or truck of your dreams. Bud Cleary has an experienced and reliable service and parts department that is open extra hours to help fit our customers' hectic schedules. Come for a test drive today at 1200 South Pioneer Way. We are a proud supporter of Columbia Basin Athletics.
Hello, my name is Cheryl Kono. I am your local Ephrata Farmers Insurance Agent. Here at Cheryl Kono Insurance Agency, our customers always come first. We don't just work here, we live here. Please stop by the office, call, email, or Facebook me for a free auto, home, life, business, or farm and ranch quote today. We are insurance. We are farmers. Come in for a free quote today.
We are farmers. Bum, ba-dum, bum, 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 bum.
Our next story is about a winery in Quincy that was recently remodeled and expanded. Reporter Jeff Chu met with the owner and has the story.
Quincy-raised Megan Couture is a small but glowing example of Washington's robust wine industry. She started her winery, Errant Cellars, about 2 years ago in a 288-square-foot space in Quincy. Today, Couture's Errant Cellars can be found inside a 3,200-square-foot warehouse she, with the help of family and friends, remodeled. The winery recently opened at 15 B Street Southeast in Quincy. Her start in the wine industry can be traced back a few years to Pete Beaumont, founder of Beaumont Cellars in Quincy.
And after a couple of years working with Pete, he said, hey, why don't you make a barrel? And the barrel turned into a winery.
Couture recalled how it all began.
I started going to the Grape, which was a wine bar here in town. It was owned by my friend Ron Stadig, who passed away a couple of years ago. And through Ron, I met Pete Beaumont of Beaumont Cellars. And Pete was just starting out, and I had a lot of free time because I was here. And so I said, hey, I'd love to learn if you need a hand, and he did. So I started working with Pete, and I worked for them for, well, up until a little bit here and there still.
For the past 2.5 years, Couture has had a full-time day job at the office of Blake All Packing, a potato packing plant nearby. Couture says that makes things pretty challenging during potato harvest, much of which coincides with grape crushing for her next vintage.
It gets a little bit nuts because we're in harvest there and I'm crazy busy here, and so it gets a little bit busy, but so far it's worked.
She buys much of her grapes from Columbia Basin Vineyards.
I buy them from a variety of sources. Right now I'm pretty well set. I buy them from Sunnyside and Mattawa, down by the Horsehaven Hills. Last year I got some from Chelan. I didn't this year for no particular reason. I found other sources from this area, the Ancient Lakes, and then out on the Royal Slope.
Megan Couture is the sole employee at the winery with a little help from her retired father, John Couture, her mother, Linda, and friends.
It's all me. I'm the owner, the winemaker, the cellar assistant, the bookkeeper, the sales manager, but I have a great family and a lot of wonderful friends that are, here with me late at night during crush.
The winery's production has gone from 32 cases 2 years ago to 200 in 2014. Her passion for the winery is constant, and Couture says she plans to keep it running as long as she can.
Making wine is such a fun mix of art and science, and I love that about it because those are both passions of mine, always have been, and so I get a little bit of both, and it's never boring. There's always, owning a winery, there's always something to do.
See Errant Cellars' website at errantcellars.com. I'm Jeff Chu for iFiber One News.
We'll be right back.
Are your kids rough on your furniture? Things looking a little run down? Then come to More Furniture in Ephrata and we can help get things back in order. We have all the top name brands made with strong quality support, including Sealy Posturepedic mattresses, because whatever you do in bed, Sealy supports it. The next time your furniture is in need of some replacing, stop into More Furniture in Ephrata, locally owned and trusted for over 100 years.
Attention business owners. The deadline is fast approaching to advertise in the 2015 edition of the Moses Lake Local Book. Don't be the only business left out. In print or online, it's the best way to reach your customer when they're ready to buy. Call today to place your ad by calling 877-738-9829 or by visiting us online at www.statewideyp.com. The Moses Lake Local Book Telephone Directory. Simply the best advertising.
The next story is about the annual Sam Scramble in Ephrata, which raised about $11,000 for a good cause. Reporter Jeff Chu has the story.
More than 80 people of all ages joined the third annual Sam Scramble in Ephrata. Shannon Lowry, who was co-organizer of the Sam Scramble, said the event raised about $11,000 for 2015. It's the most money raised since the event started up 3 years ago. She said money raised goes to a good cause.
We are really excited about providing the proceeds this year to Omni, which is a local summer program for disadvantaged kids. It serves about 60 kids in the community each year in grades 2 through 6, and they spend the whole summer learning really important personal skills. It also provides an opportunity for middle school and high schoolers to provide counseling to those kids, so they get volunteer opportunities as well. So for every extra dollar they receive, they can add more kids to that program.
The Sam Scramble takes place on New Year's Day. The event through Ephrata combines a foot race with a scavenger hunt. It is named for Samantha Webb, who lost her life to cancer 11 years ago. The event is sponsored by several Ephrata and Moses Lake businesses and their staffs. Samantha's mother, Michelle Webb, is active as a co-organizer of the event along with her husband, Tony. Michelle Webb said their daughter, Samantha, would have loved competing in the event.
She'd be in the middle of competing and doing all the fun stuff there is, so she'd be right in the middle of it all.
She explained how the Sam Scramble started.
Well, it was mostly Shannon, who's a good friend of mine, and just kind of started talking about something to do to kind of, something fun for the new year and to have a time to remember, and so she kind of came up with the idea and we started brainstorming on having an event, and I had done one of these in another community and kind of said, let's combine the two ideas together, and here we are.
After the race and award ceremony, the event wrapped up with a somber special balloon release of messages participants wrote. They wrote thoughts, wishes, and memories of loved ones now departed who were seen as inspirations. I'm Jeff Chu for iFiber One News.
Rounding out this week's news coverage is a story about a collection drive in Moses Lake that's helping keep elementary students warm during winter. Reporter Jeff Chu has the story.
Oh, nice.
Many needy young students at Moses Lake schools have warmer hands and heads thanks to a collection drive headed up by the employees at Northwest Farm Credit Services. The Moses Lake branch of Farm Credit recently delivered more than 500 gloves and hats to several elementary schools where the items are being distributed to students in need. In December, Farm Credit staffers created drop boxes and placed them at several retail store locations and at their office. TJ McBee, the Farm Credit staffer who led the effort, said she was pleasantly surprised at the outpouring of community generosity. Donors bought the items in stores and dropped them in the boxes.
It's so sad to see some of these kids come to school and they've either forgotten, lost, or, don't have, gloves or a hat to keep them warm. And our elementary students, they get sent out to recess even now when it's 20 degrees outside.
McBee explained how she and Farm Credit staff came up with the idea for the drive.
We do a really good job in the summertime of doing stewardship and fundraising, but we hadn't really found a niche or anything to do in the wintertime. So at one of our meetings in October, I kind of brought up the idea that maybe we should think about doing something along the lines of a coat drive or a toy drive or a book drive or something that would help kids around this time of year. And one of the other ladies that had a huge hand in getting this together and developed and stuff, Darla Cornelson, she came up with the idea of actually the warm accessories, the mittens, the coat, or the mittens, hats, and gloves.
Guillermo Maddox, branch manager for 5 years at Northwest Farm Credit Services in Moses Lake, says the company is highly supportive of its employees getting involved in community charity efforts.
That's one of the great things about Farm Credit. They're very supportive of these initiatives that we come up with at a branch level, and so this is definitely something that I hope we continue to do on a yearly basis.
One of the schools to receive gloves and hats was Midway Elementary, where Principal Chris Hendricks said the donation was well received. He said students are still receiving new gloves and hats. Hendricks mentioned that 85% of the school's students are living at poverty level.
Northwest Farm Credit obviously cares about kids, and we really appreciate the generosity. It's making a difference for our kids, helping them to be safer and healthier. Our kids are gaining a sense of self-worth, that people out there do care about them, and that they're worthy of that care.
One of the students to receive gloves and hats was Midway Elementary third grader Mariana Zomenio. McBee explained it was a learning experience for her.
Just there's a large need. There's a lot of kids that, don't have a lot. And it's kind of cool to see people come together.
I'm Jeff Chu for iFiber One News.
And that wraps up our weekend edition. iFiber One News will be back on Monday at 5 p.m. with the latest news from around the Columbia Basin. Thank you for watching.